When you do a dress for someone in Paris, a dress for someone in
Absolutely.
London, what's
this is
the
altogether.
difference? Try and explain
Oh,
this
it's
to
a
me.
huge difference. For instance, London, people like to dress in rags.
Rags.
Yeah, basically like scruffy, dirty
you mean
clothes.
all scratched out?
Yes,
yeah, old
all
clothes,
sorts of
yeah.
things like old
The
clothes
old
and
peerage thing. Yeah.
exactly. I would be much more successful if I went to charity shop, shred the things into pieces and put them on the catwalk with a cool stylist, and I would be the next big hottest thing. There's no soul with a creative vision, or that this is something beyond.
Yes.
In Paris, on the other hand, people will look at it beyond, in a way much more elegant, much more classical. Since I was very little, I was always fascinated and intrigued by fashion. I grew up in eastern Poland in a very small countryside. I was always admiring the beautiful and glamorous clothes of the Marlene Dietrich, Greta Garbo of that period of the 90s, 20s and 30s. I was living most of the time in my own little fantasy. Whatever my mom bought for me, I had to change it straight away. I went to university in Poland and I was studying pedagogics, which is science of teaching. I was being completely suffocated and being completely unhappy being there. When I was in my fourth year, I was absolutely convinced that there's nothing else that I want to do in life but fashion.
Why?
Why? Because first of all, I wanted to do something very creative. And secondly, the idea of doing, let's say, painting or sculpture, I found it a little bit dead, in the sense that, you paint this picture and it hangs on the wall, no matter how beautiful the picture is. If you do clothing, this clothing could be still a piece of art, but could be alive, because you can see it on Kate Moss on a catwalk, then beyond in the photography, beyond one photographer, it could be 10 photographers, beyond that it's timeless. Why St. Martin's? Of course, because of the tradition that Galliano went there, Hussein Chalam went there, McQueen went there. Secondly, because it's an art college. So people with a very creative vision blend there with people from sculpture, from photography, from painting, whatever it is. And one environment is like one family, people are together. And thirdly, tutors there, they don't treat you as a designer, they look at you more in an aspect of an artist. As opposed to other colleges, you go there, you learn how to pattern cut, you know how to make pocket, collar, whatever. I don't. I mean, I do, because I have learned it myself at home. And I went there and I spoke to a lady who was running the foundation course for fashion design. And I explained to her, my greatest dream has been always to study fashion. I don't have any book with me, I have nothing, but there's nothing else. I dropped everything in Poland, I'm here, I want to study fashion. And then she said to me, okay. I was rather surprised. She didn't ask me to see any of my drawings. I found out only 2 years later, when I was much more friendly with her. She came to me and she said, do you know what, I've been teaching in this college for 23 years and you are the only person that I accepted without seeing any drawings. And I said, why did you do that? And she said, but I was so convinced about you, you've had such positive energy. I could see in your eyes that you didn't want to do anything else in your life but this, and I knew that you are going to make it. And I started doing fashion design foundation course. And I was like, more or less working until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the night all the time because I was so determined to do well. Because other people who started doing this course, they did come from a already fashion background or artistic background, being able to draw beautifully, being able to sketch, design, understand fashion fabrics. I didn't know anything whatsoever, apart from the fact that I love this. In my year, there were 140 people graduating from fashion design. And how many of them can be recognizable names? If there is only one name each year that is a big success, it's not even that.
Are you an artist? Are you a fashion designer? But what is art?
Well, I think I have to be both nowadays, because in order to survive you have to combine both elements. So one part, the artistic part of me, is what I create, my self-inner vision that is so strongly individual about me. This is art. When I say about myself, I'm a fashion designer as well. When I have to survive, I'm producing this sort of things that people can wear and buy.
So this is good design.
This is good design.
But this is different to art.
This is different to art.
But when are you using the art side? Is that when you're doing a collection?
When I'm doing a collection, 30% of it or 20%, whatever it is, it's art. You can't call it a design necessarily, because this is, a piece of art that in itself follows the strategy of your idea for the show as such, to keep the influence all the way through. If there is a soul, there is art. If there is no soul, there's no art. I was very, very reluctant and very cautious always to look at other designers' work. I was always inspired mostly by the nature and other artists. Let's say my first show was inspired by Alan Jones, the British artist. The second show was accidentally inspired by Ana Maria Pacheco, the Brazilian artist. Names that are not necessarily as big as, let's say, Picasso or Dali, but still very inspiring, very strong artists. In each case it was different because I tend to take the elements and the whole mood of the work as such. Let's say in Alan Jones's work it was definitely the sexual aspect very much. The blocks of colors we've been painting in a very rough way. Subconsciously things came from Pericles, from Shakespeare, and then I was using the quotes, the birth of the child, it was inspired by Lucina, who was the goddess of childbirth. And elements are blending and coming from here and there. I travel quite a lot and I love observing the different cultures and different people's needs, whether this is Dubai or the Maldives or Brazil or London, and blending them together. I do believe in fate, very much so. I was lucky to have met right people on my way and everything, but I think if I wasn't smart, if I wasn't doing the right thing, luck wouldn't have helped me at all.